Welcome back to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I'm your host, Laura Ferry. Today, we're getting back to the basics. No fluff, no overthinking. Just the simple, powerful question. Are you showing up for yourself? Not just when everything's going right, not just when your to-do list is complete, but in the quiet, messy, in-between moments. Are you choosing you? This episode is for the woman who's been putting herself last, for the one running on fumes but still showing up for everyone else around them, for the one who's ready to make a change and knows it starts with the way she treats herself. We're talking about what it really means to show up for yourself, especially when it's hard, especially when it's quiet, and why that's the foundation of everything else you're trying to build. So grab a cup of coffee and come get uncomfortable with me. Hey, I'm so happy that you're here. It's been an emotionally charged week, let me tell you. I actually went into it in a little bit of chaos, figuring things out and wondering where things will land, and then left the week on a high note with a new client and an award from the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce for the first ever Inspiring Women event that they held. And I was one of 5 women in the county to receive an award. And my award was for mentorship excellence. And oftentimes, and I just kind of wrote a blog about it today too. So if you haven't checked out the blog lately, check it out at myinnerstruggle.com. That's where it all began. And it was super emotionally charged. There are many days that you go without knowing if you're making a difference. I'll put it to you that way. And sometimes when you're not seeing it or you're not getting feedback, you're wondering if you're going in the right direction or if people are listening and getting something out of what you're putting out there. And that is affirmation that I'm going in the right direction. Knowing myself and what I have to share, I am really proud of myself, actually, for accomplishing that or accomplishing anything that I've done, big and small. And that's where I wanted to kind of come back to today, kind of getting back to the basics and talk about showing up for yourself. And it's not just pedicures or manicures or massages, although those are super important and wonderful things that we can be doing for ourselves. But actually pouring into yourself. And I'm not talking about doing affirmations like a robot. I'm talking about embodying the practice and actually moving forward and doing those things and filling your cup and feeling better. Sometimes it's doing the hard, small things that are the hardest, if I can even speak today, the hardest, and often we can check ourselves out of. It's getting those little things done. And I pride myself on getting my shit together and getting organized. And I frequent that many times during the week because when you're handling so many different things, you have to sort of keep recalibrating and staying in alignment with the direction that you're going. So I talk a lot about getting organized and getting your shit together because those are the things that weigh heavy on us all the time. Those are the things that we store up here and we don't know like where to put them. They're just swimming around. We know we need to accomplish them. And so that's why I talk over and over and over and over again about doing a brain dump or getting everything out that's sitting in your head, that long to-do list, so that you can get yourself organized, start prioritizing things and get them out of your head and down and accomplished. So sometimes, even when you're doing all the right things, you can still feel overwhelmed. And I want to talk about showing up for you and the way I show up for myself and my clients show up for themselves as well. It's daily habits. I know, again, I've talked about this over and over and over again, and we talk about this in the Self-Love Club all the time. Those tiny daily habits that make up your day, essentially. And they're either bringing you further away from your goals or they're bringing you closer to your goals. And that is up to you, really. Once you have established your goals or knowing where the direction that you want to go in, you can kind of assess your day and go through it and think, okay, is this bringing me closer or further away from where I want to be? And that includes like long lists of things, watching endless amounts of TV or videos on your phone, versus putting that time to good use, whether it's filling your cup with doing something for yourself, like reading or a breathing exercise or taking a walk, or something, for your family or other people around you, or things that you can do to set yourself up for a better day tomorrow, things like that. And I've done tons of podcasts on these types of things, so that your morning habits, Your Miracle Morning, that great book by Hal Elrod that I've mentioned many times, that kind of changed everything for me. And I can't say that I do exactly those things now in that same order, but it got me out of that I'm not a morning person kind of mode that I was in for a long time. So it's all about making choices all day long, right? About the things that we want to accomplish. But showing up for yourself sometimes in those harder times, it's getting out of bed and brushing your teeth. And if that's all you can do today, that's okay, but build on it tomorrow. I have a client that had said that to me in the beginning, and how much she's a member of the Self-Love Club, and how much it was really hard for her to get out of bed in the morning. She had lost her job and she was trying to find herself and, be able to support her family. And some days it was really hard to get out of bed. And she so looked forward to having that Self-Love Club community available to her and to uplift her and keep her going in between all of those hard things. And that I really want to speak on to, as well as the Self-Love Club is just an amazing space. It's an online container for women to gain confidence through community and connection. And it is like a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I wish that more people would jump on board, just take that first step, even though it feels a little bit scary. It is really a great group of women that have nothing but the best intentions for each other. Every Sunday night, I host a group coaching call where we kind of talk about where we are in life, in our week, what we're trying to accomplish, and sort of encourage each other and empower each other to move forward and make and keep those goals for ourselves, so that we can keep filling our cup and keep growing, whether we're looking for a job or navigating divorce or just dealing with everyday life, or maybe we're building something that we're dreaming about, or starting a new hobby, or just trying to make connection with people because we've lost touch with people in the last few years, working remotely, or just by yourself and you don't have a large friend group to refer to. So that is just a beautiful, beautiful thing, the Self-Love Club. And you can find that all on lauraferry.com. But showing up for yourself is being there for you the way you keep showing up for everyone else around you. Just like we talk about that self-talk, that voice that we have in our head, we are that voice that we hear most often. So if it's not something that's positive and encouraging, I would strongly, request that you take a look at that and see, what is that talk that you're giving yourself all day long. I was someone that put myself down all day long in any situation, and it not even down, but doubted myself. So I'd be walking into a room and in my head, rather than being confident and going, you can fucking do this, I would be like, make sure you say the right thing. Don't say anything awkward. Don't be yourself. Don't, all of those things. And it took me a really, really long time to get through that and build the confidence within myself to step into a room or a meeting or an interview and just be confident. And it takes practice, but you're capable of that. And that is one thing that we have to watch, the way that you talk to yourself. You're never going to be able to show up if the support that you hear all day long isn't encouraging you to do great things. Not you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, who are you to be saying these things, who are you to be making these suggestions. And that goes for parenting too. For a long time, I don't think I was a confident mother. When my kids were much, much younger, I had a really hard time, and there was so much of my confidence tied to my financial status, my bank account, my credit score, the lack of love in my marriage, or my own awkwardness, because I hadn't really become yet who I was becoming. So there were so many things that I was doubting myself on It's really hard to show up for yourself when you're sitting there doubting yourself all the time. So check in with yourself. What are the words that you're saying to yourself all day long? I also then want to talk a little bit about this social conditioning that we have. As women, as moms, we're expected to prioritize everyone in front of us. And the thing is that if there's no one else prioritizing us in order to help all of those other people, then where is all that energy coming from? Where is all of that support coming from? And oftentimes, and I've said this to myself recently because I'm still growing. I will forever be growing. I'm never going to stop growing. I can promise you that much. But knowing that I deserve support was kind of a huge one for me. I have navigated through my life a lot independently because of my childhood, right? Because when you are hyper independent, it's because you didn't really have a lot to rely on when you were younger. And then you just kind of grow and move forward, solely relying on yourself, sometimes playing the martyr, sometimes being resentful. And those aren't really helpful feelings, but you have to move through them and get to the other side. But I have recently started using the mantra, I deserve support too, to support the other people that I'm supporting. It's interesting because as I've grown and, I know a lot more people in the county, in the business world, and everything in between, there aren't, there's never a hesitation. I'm always there to help because I care. And if you can meet me in the middle somewhere, that is really a beautiful thing. And sometimes it's hard to show up for everyone around you when you don't have the support yourself. And so that's where I'm going with this. So I know that I am a better mom, a better coach, a better resource, a better person when I'm filling my cup first and I get that support from myself. And I definitely hit moments of burnout, sometimes a little resentment or self-abandonment at times. I was just talking with a girlfriend this morning about that and how I've gotten so much better at setting boundaries for myself. I want to help everyone. And if you are standing there ready to be helped, it's really hard for me to not lunge forward and just hug you and just take you in and give you something positive to feel and move forward with. But I found myself early on in my practice, I would show up at these meetings because people would be like, can we get a cup of coffee? And we can just talk. And so, of course, yes, I'm going to show up for you because if there's no one else in your life that's showing up for you, I want to be that support that I needed. And that's why I started everything that I'm doing. But I realized that after a few times, I would leave like a meeting and be completely depleted. I had sat there for 3 hours, just kind of working through, some issues with someone, but realizing that I really needed to set a boundary for myself. And so that was an interesting, great learning process for me, without a doubt. Not abandoning myself and actually setting healthy boundaries for myself was really, really important. Not showing up for yourself creates distance from yourself. And the closer you are to the self, you feel more at home, I guess I would say, versus that distance. So when you are connected with yourself, it should feel like this great home space that you have. You can't lead, love, or grow from a place of self-abandonment. And I read that quote. I don't know who wrote it, but it's completely true. And there have been times when I've been building this practice that it's a roller coaster up and down, and that when I am so busy turning myself around, helping everybody else around me and not filling my cup first, that I'm not really leading from a good place. And so as a business owner, and that's when I talk to business owners as well, doing everything that I do through the Growth Leader, all again found at lauraferry.com. But when you as the business owner are concentrating on your personal growth and how you can do better for the people around you, and most of all yourself, then that fuels everything and all of those relationships around you. So one thing that I can say that I do now religiously daily is this morning routine that I have. And it has changed throughout the time. About a year ago, I had read the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and it changed everything for me. I was coming from a place of scarcity, even though I was building, but like I've never done this before. There's a lot of things I've never done before. And you can say the same thing too. You were never in this space, this time, or at this time doing these things. Every day is a new day. It's a new chance, new opportunity, new possibilities for anything going forward. And so as I've been stepping into this, and I'm pretty freaking open about everything that I'm kind of navigating through. I read that book. It was about a year ago, and I was having a hard time creating routines for myself and getting shit done. So I read the book and I immediately jumped into it. And if you haven't read it yet, or if you haven't explored that yet, I would strongly encourage you to do that. If you're looking for a book recommendation on where to start your journey, go to myinnerstruggle.com. I have a bunch of recommendations on there with like little reviews of what I've thought about each book too. And it's helpful if you don't know where to start because we're not all starting from the same place. So Hal Elrod's book was able to kind of put me in this momentum space of like to start building and moving. So moving your body, doing mantras, all sorts of things. Now my morning, especially like one great thing is that I don't start off my morning at my desk. I actually created a little space in my room where I will light a candle and I'm doing breathing, like breath work, meditation, doing my affirmations, looking at my vision board. I will pull tarot, each morning and kind of pray through that, honestly. And then I'll come down and I journal and I read a little bit while I have my coffee and then I start my day. I exercise later on because I like being outside to do that. And I have to wait until the whole bus routine happens in the morning. So that is working for me right now. As a mom, school is getting out this week. And that whole morning thing is probably going to change a little bit. It's going to look a little bit different. And as moms, we accommodate for that. As parents, dads too, if you're listening, just that I have my kids most mornings of the week. So my routines are going to be changing a little bit and we'll see what that manifests to. And I would definitely keep you posted. Of course, if you follow on social media, look up My Inner Struggle. And that is like everything, personal growth, really. And all of those mom tidbits and everything in between. So I want to talk about showing up for yourself. So some practical ways that you can start showing up for yourself. Do a daily check-in. If there's nothing else that you can start right now, start with a daily check-in. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? And I actually have been doing this one for about a week and a half when I am in my morning ritual space. And that is a question that I have, like, what do I need right now? Or what do I need to focus on today in order to get to where I need to go? That is a really great question. And sit with it for a few minutes and write down your answer, whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be full sentences. This is for you. So anything that comes out is going to be beneficial for you anyway. The second thing I want you to think about is honoring one boundary, whether it's with your time, your energy, or your phone. I have a hard time. Sometimes I want to throw my phone out the window, quite honestly, because, my entire business is based, on social media, basically. And I don't want to be on my phone all the time. So, really sort of creating a habit out of like not checking my phone so much or segmenting my day so that I'll check it at certain times is helpful. But what I really found helpful that I started doing was when I'm in my working day, is just putting my phone on do not disturb. I'm not seeing the notifications. I'm not hearing anything, and I can stay focused much, much easier. If my kids need me, they can ignore that and contact me, but I'm with them most of the time anyway. So that doesn't really change anything. So set a boundary with yourself, whether it's with your time, your energy, or something physical, like a work boundary, or with your family. Sometimes you need to take that space for yourself. It's okay if mom takes 15 minutes in the afternoon to shut her bedroom door and read for a few minutes or just meditate for a couple minutes. It's okay. And it's a good example for your children to see you taking that time for yourself because you want them to take time for themselves too. So it's about talking to yourself like you love yourself and treating yourself like you love yourself, or treating yourself as you would someone that you love, if that makes more sense to you. The third thing is choose a 15-minute ritual. So whether it's movement, breath, journaling, silence, reading, something, do something for 15 minutes for yourself that you feel fulfilled afterwards. And that's like where my walk in the woods started, like back in February. And that has evolved. And that's a beautiful thing. And I love doing that. The last thing that I want you to try to do is celebrate a win every day. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's progress, not perfection. So whatever it is, if you cross something off your to-do list, that's a win. If you finally stopped procrastinating that one thing that you needed to work on, that's a win. Or maybe it's something bigger than that. I was able to fix my dishwasher this weekend. I was really fucking excited about that. That has been hanging over me for a few months, that I've been like getting by, and I was able to do it. And it feels so good. I'm so excited. Again, the Self-Love Club supports all of these actions, doing something for yourself, getting things done, any type of action that you can take for yourself to move forward. We love that. I want to remind you that growth doesn't always look like a hustle. Sometimes it's presence. Sometimes it's just slowing down and being in the moment. That is growth. I spent a really long time of my life always anticipating the future, anticipating the next thing, worried about the next thing, or wondering what's going to be the next thing that exists or happens, or trying to control a situation. And once you let go of that control and let it go, and just let it flow forward, it feels so much better. So just remember, growth doesn't always have to look like hustle. It looks like presence and slowing down. You're allowed to be a work in progress and worthy at the same time. I have a cat coming to steal my tea right now. And I want you to remember something. I want you to remember that you are someone that you love and that you are worth pouring into. You deserve to be happy. You deserve abundance. You deserve joy in your life. And if you are sitting in a place that is unhappy, unfulfilled, and you're not sure where you're going, please reach out to me. I want to help. And please check out the Self-Love Club. It really is a beautiful space for women. Hoping that as we grow, we'll be able to do more and more things together locally, even if you're in the county. But if you're not here, that's okay too, because we have plenty of things online going on, different workshops and things like that too, and a book club. I want to leave you with this journal prompt for this week. So I am a huge fan of journaling. I love to write, obviously, as you know, because that's how all of this started. But the journal prompt that I want to leave you with is this. What does showing up for myself look like this week? What's one thing I can do today to honor me? I want you to journal about that. Write it down. What does showing up for myself look like this week? What's one thing I can do today to honor me? And I want to know what you wrote. Shoot me a message on social, send me an email. I want to know what your journal response was for that. So let's get started. Remember to give yourself some grace this week as you're moving through, and fill your cup, no matter how small. Please check out the Self-Love Club at lauraferry.com and the blog. Everything can be found at lauraferry.com. If you found this episode insightful and helpful, please give it a like and share it with a friend if you can. Make sure you are subscribing wherever you are watching or listening. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found this fruitful for you and gave you a little bit of something to consider for the week. Planted the seed, and that you're ready to start pouring into yourself. If you need any help, please shoot me a message, either on social or via email. And as always, I am thinking of you and sending you love, and I will see you soon.